Nothing to clean with. This week, almost every planned event that I had got canceled. You know, we had our kickoff meeting for the race that got canceled. South Bolton Running Partners, their annual Unity Summit, got canceled. So this week, really, the only gathering I did was with my family. You know, and that was exciting. I went out with my wife and two boys and hit the track on Saturday. And my youngest son, for the first time, ran 3 consecutive miles. It was really impressive. You know, he ran it in under 30 minutes. I'll put the time up here. We ran negative splits and he felt great the whole way. So we're getting him geared up. He was excited just being able to run his first 3 miles. First time running 3 miles without stopping. His big brother joined for half of the run as well. He got in a mile and a half. So we had a blast out there as a family, just sort of taking advantage of this this down period with they're out of school. You know, I'm working from home. All of us are together. So this is going to be a period of opportunity for families to get together and bond and do some things together, because all of the events, all of the functions and venues, those things are closing. So really all we're going to have is each other, just to sort of get closer and bond throughout as the world deals with this crisis. Yeah, during the week also, during the week, my family went grocery shopping, just, you know, needed some things in the house, and man, walking through the grocery store, it felt like, you know, those movies that you see in the onset of a pandemic, where people are just rushing through the aisles, you know, grabbing whatever they can. We saw lots of bare aisles and empty cabinets, empty sections. You know, people just grabbing up all of the water was gone. We weren't really able to get any bread for the week. So hopefully this shortage at the grocery stores is sort of a short-term fear-induced sort of spike, and things will return to normal in the coming weeks. We haven't been back to the grocery store yet, so you know, we're trying not to go overboard with the hoarding thing. So we're sticking with our, you know, once a week sort of grocery shopping. So when we head back, hopefully things will have settled down a bit, and we'll be able to just, you know, resume sort of normal shopping practices. But man.
All right, long run done. Today I was moving solo. Didn't have my squad with me. Marquell is down. Habib said he had a little tweak, so I had to do this one solo. Got in about 19 miles. GPS was acting a little wonky, so I had to go by the trail mileage. Not sure what my pace is yet, but I went out to the 8.6 mile marker. But I start from 0.75 before then. So really it's 0.75 plus 8.6. So it's that 9.35 out and back. So that'll be, what's that? 18.7 miles, if my math is correct, which I'm not sure it is, given that I just got back from this run. But 18.7 miles, did it in 2 hours, about 2 hours, 10 minutes. Good run today, wet out there. Trail was kind of empty, but you know, maybe it's partly part of this coronavirus, partly due to the weather. But just got out here and did the best that I could. About to take it back to the house now and get something to eat. Long run done. We out.
Yeah, this week I had to do my long run solo. Talk about social distancing. Marquell had some scheduling issues, and Habib might have tweaked something on Saturday, so he was out for the run. So I went out and hit the Silver Comet by myself. Ended up running about 18.7 miles with my watch unable to grab a GPS signal. So I had to rely on the course, the trail mile markers, and just the timing of a watch. So it felt a little bit old school. Despite the everything that's going on, the trail still had a good number of people out there. Saw some walkers, bikers, families, other runners out there. And most exciting part was that the bridge was reopened. So I was able to run past the bridge in order to get some more mileage out there in the trail. So I'm very excited and happy to hear that. Had a good run. Was able to maintain a sub 7-minute pace. And this is without really knowing what my pace was throughout the run. I was just, again, trying to manually figure out the type of pace I was running just based on the course mile markers. But when I got back, again, I knew I did 18.7 because I mapped out the course and I had my time. I was able to figure out that I was still able to comfortably run under 7-minute per mile pace solo, without my normal group running partners and without extending maximum effort. So I still feel extremely fit. So again, man, I got to use this fitness, man. I'm looking for a spring race because I think I can really turn around a good time. So we'll see how that part works out. So with London being postponed to the fall, theoretically now we're talking after the Olympics, assuming that the Olympics takes place. I've got to question whether or not we're ever going to get a chance to see the Bekele Kipchoge matchup. That was one of the most exciting matchups. That was the most exciting matchup that I was looking forward to this year. But with London getting postponed, I don't know how that happens. I mean, I don't know if Bekele is going to be chosen to the Olympic team. I would think he would be, but I'm not sure how Ethiopia is going to approach that. So, if he's not in the Olympics, or the Olympics don't take place for that matter, then we're looking at the next chance that they possibly have to meet up will be at London in the fall, and who knows what type of fitness they'll be in. So I'm just hoping that we can still get a chance to see that matchup, to see sort of Kipchoge and Bekele both operating at their best in the marathon, being able to face off one-on-one just to settle the age-old debate of which one's the better marathoner. I'm really looking forward to that matchup. Hopefully we can find a way for that to come out. One thing I know I'm going to keep an eye out this year at Boston is I'm probably going to try to snatch up anything that has a date on it. Because from my understanding, this has got to be the first Boston that has ever taken place, Boston Marathon that's ever taken place outside of the month of April. So anything I can find that has Boston Marathon with a September date on it, I think I'm going to try to buy that up, because I'm sure that's going to be a rare collector's item in the future to have a September dated Boston Marathon paraphernalia. So yeah, I'm still keeping an eye out. I'm looking for, I've got a few races tagged. I won't even mention them now because I don't want to jinx it, but I've got a few that have not been canceled yet in early April, and a few options in May. It still feels too risky to try to register now. All of them are flaunting generous refund availability if the race is canceled. But what I don't want to do is lock myself into a sort of what would have been a backup spring marathon, and then it ends up getting postponed. And so now I'm sort of stacking my races in the fall. I already know I'm going to run Boston in the fall. So I want to try to wait until I feel confident that a spring or perhaps a very early summer marathon is definitely going to be a go. And then I'll try to register for that. And in the meantime, I have to think about what to do with my training. Like if theoretically I can get into one of these races in early April, then now would be the time for me to start tapering. But I don't want to taper now because I don't know if that race is actually going to go forward or if they're going to end up canceling. So I'm just sort of in a holding pattern where I think I'm going to keep my mileage up. Maybe I'll back off a little bit. Maybe I'll try to keep my mileage somewhere in the 90s to the 80s so that I'm still getting in some good mileage. But if at the last minute I decide I want to jump into a race, I can quickly sort of get my legs fresh in order to try to put together a good race for early April, potentially, or May. I don't know. Still trying to figure this thing out. We'll see. Atlanta Track Club actually opened registration for the Peachtree Road Race. I'm already seeing and hearing from people that are having questions about whether or not that race is going to be able to go forward. At this point, the club doesn't have any reason to believe that that race is going to be postponed. July doesn't seem to be a concern, at least not an immediate concern on people's radar as it relates to the coronavirus. But they have mentioned that they will be generous with the registration with coronavirus in mind. And this is something, normally when you register for the Atlanta Track Club, for the Peachtree 10K, like the registration is final, so whether you can attend the race or not, you still have to pay the registration fees. But with this being an exceptional circumstance, there seems like there's going to be a little bit of flexibility around it. So that was a non-negotiable for me. I run the Peachtree Road Race 10K every year since I started taking road racing seriously. I'm registering for that no matter what. So I'm going to be there. That's my one race that I'm definitely repeating year after year after year. This will be my ninth, if I remember correctly, this will be my ninth consecutive year. And I have no intention of letting that streak drop. I'm a huge fan of the Peachtree Road Race, and it's a staple for the local running community. And for all those that are whether you're members of the track club or not, if you live in Atlanta and you're even partially interested in road racing, you're likely going to consider the Peachtree Road Race to be a must-attend event.